Hello, Insta. I was going to say Facebook. Hello, welcome to Manifesting with Matt Nat. I hope you guys are having an awesome evening or morning. I know, let me know which side of the world you are from. I'm in Melbourne at the moment, which a lot of you I'm seeing are joining on at the moment. So just put me a hello. Let me know where you're from. We actually had this inspired idea to just share a lot of what Matt and I speak about. Matt's my husband. He's also one of Bob Proctor's elite coaches. So we have very interesting life. Our conversations at home are probably very different to a lot of conversations other people have. We're constantly studying, we're sharing wins with each other, what we've learned, what aha moment we've got. So our life is pretty sprinkled with a lot of ahas. So Beck, Darwin quarantine, welcome home. You're back in Australia. Hello, Steph, welcome. Hello from Geelong. Got lots of Aussies on. Alrighty, so let me bring Matt on just before, so this is cool. So as he's joining, oh, there you are. Welcome.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Let me just turn
That's
this up.
good. My teeth look really white on this.
Yours?
I don't know. I've never done this before. Awesome.
Rebecca,
Wow.
so nice to see you. I hear you're back in Australia.
Yay. Welcome back, Beck. Last time I saw Beck was in Canada. So awesome. So, well, this is impromptu. We kind of had this idea driving in the car one day. I've been manifesting Matt to do this on a regular basis, and at the beginning it was like, no, I'm not interested. I was like, you know what, I know this material, so I'll just hold the image and see it done. And then he's like, hey, you know what, we should do that. I was like, oh yeah, really? So now here we are. We've done it before in Clubhouse, but I think this is pretty cool because we get to have our communities come together. And for some people that don't know Matt, yes, he's my husband. He's also a mindset coach. He coaches thousands of people around the world with this material as one of Bob Proctor's, leading coaches. So it's pretty cool to have you on here. And we have decided, would you like to share with everybody what we're going to be doing?
Sure. So we were right until the very last second deciding what we're going to share. We had an idea. So we really want to talk today about really mental diets and controlling your inner conversation, and really utilizing that, tool or effect to manifest what you want. And so we decided that we would pluck a chapter out of Neville Goddard's book, The Power of Awareness. Actually, the book that we're going to be reading from is Awakened Imagination. And the chapter is called Coin of Heaven. And really what he's describing in this chapter is controlling the inner conversation, controlling your self-talk. And it really is such a powerful thing to develop, is really developing your self-control. Self-control of your thinking, and it's so good. So we thought we'd just not read through the whole thing, but we're just going to pull out a few key points and go through it, and then we're going to break it down and have a chat about it. We won't be on here for too long, but if you guys have any questions, if anything that you'd like to ask us, feel free to type it in the chat, and we'll see if we get some time to answer some of those questions.
Awesome. All right, let's do it.
Very good.
Love Neville. For those of you who aren't into Neville, he's so good. He's for the person who's really emotional and right brain, really gets easily emotionally involved with things. It's really powerful. So, and if not, it's okay. It helps you. All right. Do you want me to start?
Go for it.
Persuasion is an inner effort of intense attention. To listen attentively as though you heard is to evoke, to activate. Like, even that is just so powerful. I've already got things underlined there. You know, to listen as though you have heard is pretty much listen like it's done. Whatever you want to manifest. So I think maybe for everyone, think of what it is you want. Like, while you're on this call tonight, think of one thing that you really want to manifest, whatever it is, and just really relate this, because you might get an aha moment on the call. But listen attentively as though you heard is to evoke, to activate. By listening, you can hear what you want to hear and persuade those beyond the range of the outer ear. That's exactly what I did to manifest you on this call. Doesn't matter what's going on outside. Speak it inwardly in your imagination only. I love that. Make your inner conversation match your fulfilled desire. What you desire to hear without, you must hear within. Did you want to pull that apart before I keep going?
Well, that's actually the first thing I have underlined and highlighted in this chapter, and really, this is such a key thing. Like, really, we can get into talking about frequencies and and really ultimately manifesting and what you attract, and you're only going to attract into your life whatever's in harmony with you, and our thinking is really the primary cause of all our results. And so if we want to go from wherever you are now, so if you have a goal, I want you to think of that goal for a second. And if you had already achieved that goal, okay, or let's even just give you an example. If you're earning 100,000 a year and you want to earn $1 million a year, okay, or 100,000 a month. Well, to get to the 100,000 a month, if you had already been earning 100,000 a month, you'd be thinking differently to what you'd be thinking if you're earning 100,000 a year. And so what Neville's saying here, make your inner conversation match your fulfilled desire. You have to now start thinking like the person who's earning 100,000 a month. And that might sound like easy, or even, maybe to someone who's new to this, like, what's the point of it? Well, the point of it is we can only attract into our life the thing that is in harmony with us. And our thought controls the way we feel. And ultimately that determines the way we behave. And then that thoughts, feelings, and actions, that's an energy we're constantly sending out, and we're always attracting back to us, through the law of cause and effect, anything that's in harmony with that. So, I know I've taken a few steps with this just one paragraph or this one sentence, but make your inner conversations match your fulfilled desire. It's so, so important. And that's pretty much what the whole chapter is about. But what you desire to hear without, you must hear within. So you have to now create and start creating that inner dialogue of the person that you want to become. Everything you do from this point has to come from that place.
Absolutely. And you know what just hit me like a lightning bolt? I've never had this thought before reading The Coin of Heaven, and I've read this quite a few times. I've been studying another book, and it's talking about heaven on earth. The coin of heaven is bringing the spiritual to the physical. So it's literally the coin of heaven. It's like the golden ticket of heaven. What is that? I mean, especially people that are religious, I used to get confused what that meant. It's literally bringing the spiritual into the physical. And the only way we can do that, and we are doing that all the time, whether we're aware of it or not, is done through feeling. Through feeling whatever we're constantly feeling, we are attracting, whether it's the same result over and over again, whether it's worse results or whether it's better results. Whatever it is, you can create, you can manifest. That's our freedom, that we can think whatever we want. No one is here controlling our thinking. That's our God-given freedom. But the coin of heaven is literally moving from the spiritual to the physical. And I've never thought of that before in that way. So that's exactly what this is about.
This is what I think the coin of heaven is. I guess it's on the same lines as what you're saying, but the coin of heaven is your actual thought. Your thought is like the currency of the spiritual world. The coin of heaven, right? It's like the currency. And this is why I'm thinking along those lines, because on page 167 at the top, if you go there, he says you must stop spending your thoughts, time, and money Everything in life must be an investment. To spend is to waste, to squander, to lay out without return. To invest is to lay out for a purpose from which a profit is expected. And
yes.
So we're
That's
always
so
spending.
good. That's another thing, right? So currency, the thought is the currency that moves heaven, the spiritual to the physical, and that's the vehicle. Really, that's what's moving it, bringing it. And we can add this. Let's not get too deep, but let's get deep because I like it. One of the laws is perpetual transmutation. One of these 7 universal laws, right, is perpetual transmutation of energy. And that's exactly what this is. The currency is the thought, moving the spiritual to the physical using universal law. Bang. Yeah. There you go. Love it. Oh my God. Love you, Neville. All right, let's get going.
All right. I'm going to start. It says, embrace the without within and become one who hears only that which implies the fulfillment of his desire, and all the external happenings in the world will become a bridge leading to the objective realization of your desire. I love that. And I'm going to explain why I love that. Because if you control I believe we can control one thing, and that's ourselves, right? And part of us is our thinking. We can control our thoughts, we can control our actions, okay? And if we work on controlling our thinking, if we look at what it says here, the external happenings in the world will become a bridge leading to the objective realization of your desire. Like everything happening outside of you is going to be connecting you to the fulfillment of your desire if you control the inner conversation. Now, if we think of how we operate throughout our whole day, 96 to 98% of all our thinking is actually habitual. Like how many thoughts do we think in a day? Do you know the number of
thoughts?
It's
about 60, 70,000 thoughts a day.
Yeah. Like most of those thoughts are actually habitual. The same thoughts we had yesterday, all happening unconsciously. And when you can start to consciously control the inner thinking, so you have to create new thought habits, new thought patterns, well, you start altering the external happenings, and that alteration of external happenings is actually the link to the fulfillment of your desire.
Yeah.
And that's really amazing.
Well, that's it, because everything is happening. If you're doing this properly and you're thinking from your goal, so think of whatever you want to manifest, you're fusing with it, you're having that inner conversation, the universe is literally molding. This energy is molding the physical for you. For example, let's say you want to manifest your dream house, right? And, you know, the tradesman who's going to build your house is doing his apprenticeship, or, you know, right now for you, right? Or they've just made a mistake somewhere in another house and have learned from it to make sure that when they build your house, it's perfect. So we cannot ever see all the intricacies that the universe is connecting, but what we can do is trust in it. And the more we understand it, the more we rest in it, and the easier it gets. You're not trying to control everything, because you know the universe or God, whichever word you want to use, is working it for you. But you do have something to do, and this is it. This is the work right now. So that's so good. Keep going.
Absolutely. It says your inner speech is perpetually written all around you in happenings. Learn to relate these happenings to your inner speech, and you'll become self-taught. I think we can pause there and even just dissect that. Like so if you actually, the more consciously aware you become of, you know, what's actually happening around you, and relate that to the thoughts you were thinking, and this can probably drive you crazy if you're like trying to cipher everything, but just be consciously aware. Hang on a sec, like what have I been thinking? Like if you're attracting a common result over and over and over again, a reoccurring result, well, tie it back to, okay, what have I been thinking? What am I getting most emotionally involved with most of the time? And then you trace it back, and then you can actually stop it there. You think, okay, if it's a result that I don't want, well, then I can stop it and I can actually recreate a new conversation with myself. Like, I'll give you an example. Something that comes to mind straight away where I've actually used this. I remember, it was going back a few years ago, I was having, a bit of a challenging time with a work colleague. And it wasn't like fighting or arguing or anything like that, but it was just a bit of friction. And I couldn't really talk to this person very much. But mentally, I recognized that I was always having these mental arguments with this person. I wasn't having the physical arguments, but I was having mental arguments. And in the physical world, I was experiencing friction with this person. I was like when I became aware of it, I'm like, okay, well, I have to stop these mental arguments right now. And I've got to actually change that. And I've got to create a new conversation, being really friendly with this person and agreeable and all these sorts of things. And so I started recreating the conversation, seeing the person praising me and all these sorts of things. And it was literally a few days later, like the whole relationship changed. And I started getting, praise for my work and all these different sorts of things. And it literally blew my mind. I'm like, this is how easy the work is. You catch it. When you catch the thought or you catch what you're doing, you can switch it. And Neville actually tells a story. I'm not sure which chapter, it might be in this chapter. He tells a woman who was having the same sort of problem with.
That's right.
In that
it's
book.
in Mental Diets. I mean, he may have it in here as well. As soon as you started telling that story, I opened it up.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. It's attitude. I mean, I don't want to butt in, but finish what you're going to say, and then I can read that story because it'll make so much sense.
Well, read it, because I was just going to explain that story, so it'll probably be a lot better if you just read it. Go for it.
He says here, others only echo that which we whisper to them in secret. So you can relate that to your partner, you can relate that to your children, you can relate that to people you work with, you can relate this to anyone. It's an attitude. It's the attitude you're having, your thoughts, feelings, and actions. So this woman was having issues with her boss, and she was going to Neville, telling him about this person who was not treating her very fairly. And she confessed that she argued mentally with him all day long. So she became aware. When she realized what she had been doing, she agreed to change her inner conversations with her employer. She imagined that he had congratulated her on her fine work, and that she in turn had thanked him for his praise and kindness. To her great discovered that her own attitude was the cause of all that befell her. The behavior of her employer reversed itself. It echoed, as it had always done, her mental conversation with him. And this is where I feel that you have complete ownership of any relationship you're in, because you can change it. And that's true freedom. It's not 50-50. Like, even with us being married, having children, it's 100% complete responsibility that I take. And I know I'm a shift away from changing something. It's never anything outside.
Isn't it so funny though, where now it's your responsibility to change it? Like, you could be really upset at someone, and because they've done something wrong, they've said something wrong to you, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, that's my job now to change that. And it's something that you got to change in yourself. And it's almost, you might even find resisting yourself. Like, I don't want to change that. I just don't want to talk to this person again, or whatever the inner conversation might be. But then you can say, okay, but is that even serving you? Every time I was thinking of this person, it was lowering my vibration. So I was lowering the way I felt. I didn't feel good. And understanding what we teach, if you're not feeling good, what you're attracting things that aren't, of that equal nature into your life, right? So you want to keep your vibration high. You want to keep feeling good. And if you notice that you're having arguments with people, or there's some sort of friction in the outside world in your relationships, well, you can alter that straight away by changing, seeing yourself having loving relationships, seeing yourself having a relationship where you're getting along with this person, and that's going to make you feel so much better. And then just wait for the outside world to change. You know, you might even get inspired to send the person flowers, or to you know, send them a nice letter or something. You know, whatever. Just use your intuition to guide you in order for actions, or you wait for them to respond differently, because that can happen too. It happened to me. So
yeah, there you go. And one thing I was actually telling my clients this week in one of the calls was, I said, I have this belief that I can really help manifest for other people. I do it with the kids, I do it with you, I've done it with my parents, so I do it with clients. And it's just being able to hold them at an image. So for example, let's say you want to create an image of your children being really pleasant, well-behaved, calm, or doing well at school, and their behavior right now is not in harmony with what you see. You've still got to treat them like they're this person. You cannot react to that reaction, or you aren't changing it. So one thing you do is it's your attitude towards that person. And then the next step is, not only do you see and feel them treating you that way that you want to be treated, but then you act and treat them like they are already this person. And that can be really not challenging, but it requires some strength to hold them at a certain image until the physical catches up. It's just a matter of time. But don't get sucked into that initial reaction. You just stay steadfast on that new image. And I feel that that's the trick and the key as to what I found really easy to help my kids improve their school grades, to change a health issue, anything that seems like it's outside and takes time. You treat them like it's done. You treat them like they're already doing well, and you watch how quickly it comes up. Okay.
you know, that's really where the practice comes in, the repetition of it all, where because you're developing two faculties there, your imagination and your will. And your will is your ability to focus. So the more you practice it, the stronger those two mental faculties get, like going to the gym and training any other muscle. But you know, it gets easier and easier to hold that image of what you want to see, but you have to keep at it, right? There's actually an interesting comment, Nat, and it's worth reading. So Michelle said, I've read that book so many times. Why does it now make so much sense when someone else reads it?
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think of that, and it made me think straight away of, you know, Bob's Inner Circle. And you know, we study like the same book and even sometimes the same chapter for like months and months and months. And you hear him read the same thing over and over and over again. And then like the 50th time, it's like, now I can see what he means. Or now I can see. But it comes down to awareness, doesn't it? Like you can read the same thing over and over again, but when you're reading it or studying it, you're studying it from your paradigm. You're studying it from your awareness. When someone else is reading it and explaining it or breaking it down, well, all of a sudden you're learning from their paradigm and their awareness. So you raise your awareness so much more quickly. And that is really ultimately the power of having a mentor or having someone else that's guiding you. Like that's why I love Bob's Inner Circle. It's probably my favorite program that Bob does, because you're studying what he's studying and you're really downloading his awareness. But it has really made me think, you know, like this is the key about study. Like it's just all repetition to keep developing that awareness.
And I think the book hasn't changed, but you have changed in that moment. And you've been open and receptive to receive a different perception. It's really perception, right? Yeah. Someone's perception. All right. Where were you at?
Well, I just read a part.
Why don't you keep going?
I'll finish this paragraph. So I'm on the second paragraph on page 160. He says, by inner speech is meant those mental conversations which you carry on with yourself. They may be inaudible when you are awake because of the noise and distractions of the outer world of becoming, but they are quite audible in deep meditation and dream. But whether they are audible or inaudible, you are their author and fashion your world in their likeness.
Yeah. It's just all in a conversation. I'm going to tell you that you control that you have created such a key to freedom. You know, one of the things I've got on my wall here, it says, I am my best friend. I speak only with love, kindness, and encouragement. I see what I'm doing well. I focus on how amazing I am, and I raise myself up. And that's just a reminder to keep the inner conversation that I have towards me like I am my best friend. I need to be my biggest cheerleader, because at the end of the day, the minute I think a negative thought of what I haven't done well, or what I need to do that I should be doing that isn't good enough, that inner conversation, what's happening is that's manifesting in a reality. So if I want to keep doing better in my business, in my income, then I would have more and more thoughts of someone who's crushing it, who's doing amazing. And guess what starts to happen? Other people are going to mirror the inner conversation that you have. So the more you think, I'm so proud of myself, I'm doing amazing. You know, how often will you come up to me and just randomly say, I'm so proud of you, or vice versa? And it's funny because both of us have an awareness that we know that that's just a reflection of the inner conversation that we're holding. And that spirit, you could say God, moving to and through someone else, just telling you what you're thinking about yourself. And the same goes true if you're really beating yourself up and not in a good frame of mind towards yourself. You go ask someone for their opinion or something, and they're just going to confirm the negative conversation you're having, you know, whatever it is. I had a client asked me about seeing a clairvoyant, and they told her something that really wasn't pleasant. And I said, you know, in my personal history, I guess, my past, I would see one when I was in doubt, because I really just wanted some reassurance that everything was going to be okay. And now with an awareness, I realize that they're just going to tell me what I'm feeling, that it doesn't matter who it is. It's just going to be a reflection. So the only opinion that truly does matter is mine. The only thoughts that I need to be concerned about are mine. And that's all that matters. And I think if you can do that, and you can really master yourself, you know, and that requires you to keep strengthening your high faculties and keep studying and keep raising your awareness. So,
well, there's a great quote. It's an old one. It says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Right? And that is really those in deep down, those deep subconscious beliefs, those deep subconscious conversations that we're having with ourselves. It doesn't say, as the clairvoyant says you are, that's as you're going to become. Like, that's not the way it is. It's we have control of that. And I think that there are infinite possibilities of the future that we can create for ourselves. And we're constantly course correcting and altering that based on our inner conversations, based on the mental images that we're holding on to, based on the goals that we're setting for ourselves, or lack of goals, right? And so we have to, this is where we can take the reins. And I love, if you flick over to page 161, you know, this is what he starts talking about here on that paragraph. It's the second paragraph. He says, the whole manifested world goes to show us what use we have made of the word, inner speech. An uncritical observation of our inner talking will reveal to us the ideas from which we view the world, right? And in our inner talking mirrors our imagination, and our imagination mirrors the state with which it is fused. If the state with which we are fused is the cause of the phenomena of our life, then we are relieved of the burden of wondering what to do if we have no alternative but to identify ourselves with our aim. And inasmuch as the state with which we are identified mirrors itself in our inner speech, then to change the state with which we are fused, we must first change our inner talking. It is our inner conversations which make tomorrow's facts. You know, and that's so, like, in itself, like, that is so much gold right there in that paragraph. And you can probably keep breaking it down even further, you know, but it's exactly what you were just talking about, you know. And really, if you want to alter, you know, if there's any part of your life where it's not meeting, you know, you're not fulfilled in that area, you're lacking in something, whether it's relationships, love, you know, money, your career, you know, lacking fulfillment, like you can alter it by going inward and starting there. Like that is the primary cause of all our results. It's not the outside. Like if someone's not satisfied with how much money they're earning, like their bank balance or the income they're receiving is the effect. It's not the cause. It's not the cause of their lack of money. It's the inner talking. It's the inner conversations. It's the habitual thinking that is the primary cause. And that's where we have to go if you want to create permanent change. Otherwise, you're always trying to change things from a secondary cause rather than from the primary cause, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's so good what you said, because I mean, think of anything, even health. Like it can be so real right now, your bank account, whatever. It can be so real, physical, manifested. And there's a lot of people that will agree to that. You know, you still have to see truth regardless of appearance. You have the ability, like you've been given an imagination. Why? For this purpose. You were given these tools for free. You didn't buy them, you didn't earn them, you didn't anything. You were given your imagination for the purpose of creation. And what I love, I think I'm a rebel at heart, you know. I was always a goody goody, but I love going against the grain. Like I love manifesting the opposite. Like give me something and I will just revel in seeing it and feeling it and just staying there. And the more you can stay connected with this image, the stronger and more consistent these conversations coming from the wish fulfilled, the quicker it starts to come, you know. So what you've got to do is forget what the physical showing in that area of your life, whatever that may be. That's just a past. That is a manifestation of past thinking. So don't get conned into thinking that that's now. That's just the, like you said, the effect. So the cause, you can start creating a whole new version of your life, a whole new story in whichever area you want, and you just start with your imagination. And now this is the next bit. I would give you maybe a suggestion. You can get a pen and paper and start creating what the story would be. What's some of the inner conversation you would have when you're shopping, buying clothes or groceries, or it's Christmas? What inner conversation would you have now that you are earning 100,000 a month or $1 million a month or whatever your goal is? Like, how would you be thinking going grocery shopping? How would you be feeling when you look at a house that you want to buy? Because I guarantee the conversation is going to have to be different, period. You have a different inner conversation when you're single to when you're married, when you're no children to when you have children, when your children are naughty, when your children are well behaved. The inner conversation is different.
Very different.
This is the key here.
And isn't it so amazing? This is what I love about this, Nat. It's so amazing that every moment, in any moment, like right now, you can reset. You can start changing it right now. Or you can start right now. Or right now.
Or now.
Like, yeah, or now. Like every moment is a new moment. Like this energy is constantly flowing to and through. It's completely unadulterated energy. It's pure spirit. It's pure energy. It's got no form. And whatever we're thinking about, whatever we're focusing on, I should say, it's not the fleeting thought. It's whatever we're focused on, right? That is the direction that energy is flowing. So if we're just, you know, like it's 9:30 at night, like if you're just numbing out right now and watching television, well, you know, where is your thinking going, you know? But if you're focused on, you know, creating something, if you're focused on what you're wanting to create, if you're looking at your vision board right now, if you're, you know, creating or planning your dream home, like that's where the energy is flowing in that moment. If you're planning your, you know, the growth of your business, taking it to the next level, or how you can increase your income, well, that's where the energy is flowing. So every moment's a new moment, and we can always create something new, you know? And that's the most beautiful thing about this. Like we have that power. Like the power is not in the circumstances, you know, but we have been conditioned from day dot to give the power to the circumstances, to let the circumstances control us rather than us controlling the circumstances, you know. And, I think this is why it's so important that we do things like this and get, help people become more aware. This is why I'm so passionate about it. Like when we went to that seminar in Toronto back in December 2014, like it just blew my mind. Like I was reading self-help books, and just so were you, watching all the YouTube videos, but it never really hit me on the level that it hit me once I went to that seminar and really immersed myself in that environment and saw how differently people were thinking, seeing how differently people were living to what we were used to. And it's like, wow, like there is actually a whole different world out there, you know? And I wanted to bring that world home with me. And I know you were in exactly the same boat now. Like we just wanted this to become a part of who we are. And, you know, we want to share it with as many people as we can. So, you know, this has been amazing, but I think we have to stop there. It's like 9:37. We can probably speak about this for another.
Enough. I think it's deep, and I think that you're right. This is why we're doing what we're doing, is to try and help more people around the world not buy into limitation and actually really feel free and create the life that they want. And I'm all about having all of it: the happiness, the health, the wealth, the money, the lifestyle, the purpose, all of it, the giving, so you can create anything that you want. So let's wrap it up there. Awesome to have so many of you on, so many comments as well. So that's so cool. Hey Ash, great to see you. So
hey,
what if we do this again? Maybe
we can continue it next week. Like we're like 1.5 pages in the chapter. We've spoken about it for like 30, nearly 40 minutes. So maybe we can continue on with it and keep expanding on the discussion and breaking it down. And maybe someone that's watching this tonight, I'm not sure if there's going to be a replay or how people can watch that. But you know, maybe if you got any questions, you can bring them onto the call next week and we can answer them as well. What do you say?
Idea. I think that's awesome. All right. I love it.
Very good.
See everybody. I'll try and figure out how to put this up on replay. If you know how, just comment below and you can help me out. All right. Take care. Bye.
See you later. Bye.